Hey guys, Adrian here from Digital Dojos at digitaldojos.com. I'm here today for the Like Cool Man channel to give my thoughts and opinions on some stuff. I've had the Mac for my iMac actually for a while now. I still haven't got a chance to review. I'm still trying to get things in order, but I want to talk to you guys about a little bit of a vlog and more of a kind of a guide. Show you guys I have a video coming out later on more on this, but my experience so far with the Macs, with not completely switching to OS 10, is my main machine now, my iMac, and I still have my PC off here to the right. But my iMac has been running great. It's usually running a triple monitor display with the dual Thunderbolt ports. Right now I'm only running dual displays. My PC, like I said, is still Windows 7, still here on the side. Has dual monitors as well hooked up to that. But mainly I use my iMac, and I'm actually getting Windows installed on the iMac with a boot camp very soon, so I can just use the Windows on here as well. Kind of have an environment to work around with this because the iMac is the i5. This is the i5 27-inch model, 2.7 gigahertz. Only 4 gigs RAM. Still looking to upgrade that, so nothing has really changed in terms of upgrades. Actually, I did a video back showing how to. I don't know if I uploaded yet, but I do have a video coming up on how to install the RAM. I'm looking to put an SSD in my iMac, a lot of stuff coming up, and obviously Mountain Lion is coming out too. So I just want to give you my thoughts on how so far it's been using the Mac, how it's been kind of transitioning, not really like, from a fanboy viewpoint, because again I consider myself a power user. I use what is best for me, what's currently what suits me best in terms of what I need to do. And in this case, it just happens to be the Mac platform right now. Maybe in the future, if it happens to be Windows, then it'll be Windows. But right now, OS 10 works best for me at this point, and in my situation for work, personal use, all of that. So I'm not trying to start any fanboy fights in here, anything. But these are my advantages so far of switching to OS 10 and the advantages of going Mac in general. So I listed some key points here, and obviously here's the website. But number one I want to talk about was unification. And this is more coming out with OS 10 Line. If you haven't seen my video here, you can see the quick features coming out in OS 10 Line. And what I mean by unification is everything, all the products I own a lot of iOS products, and there goes my MacBook. Everything's in synchronized. My iPhone works well with Mac. Not saying it didn't work well with a PC, but there's a lot of stuff that I can, obviously it syncs well with iTunes. iTunes just runs really fluidly. You get those Apple bundled apps. And what I mean by unified is everything I know from this, how to get notifications and all that, they're unifying that with OS 10 Mountain Lion. So I think it's very, very user-friendly. When a lot of people say it's kind of a transition jumping from Windows to Mac. It's a different user interface, but I think it's really easy to catch on to. I think everybody's so used to Windows that they may say sometimes Mac is difficult and they don't know how to navigate because they've used Windows so long. But really, it's really, really simple. Like I said, they're doing stuff like Launchpad, Mission Control, Notification Center, all that stuff. So if you use an iPhone, if you use an iPad for that matter, I think it's really simple. And with Mountain Lion, it'll only be that much simpler. And not only that, with stuff like iBooks, I'm going to talk a little bit about that later because I've been using that a lot lately. iBooks is something that I can sync with my iPad to preview my book that I'm currently working on, my ebook. And stuff like that, the whole unification, it works better with the devices I own right now. Like I said, when I'm on the go and I need to handle stuff for work or anything like that, I do a local business here with repairing computers and iPhones and iPods and all that. So this really helps me out when I can, obviously, what do you call that? I can use this on the go and check my email and all that. And that's just, the lifestyle I'm used to using these iDevices. And it kind of corresponds with the Mac. So not saying that if you own an iPhone and don't own a Mac, you can work just as great on the PC. Anyways, security. Moving on, security. Obviously, you hear this a lot about Macs. It's something you don't really have to worry about. Not saying that there's not viruses out there, but you don't have to go out and buy like Norton antivirus. You don't have to go out. There's antiviruses for Mac. And there's some stuff built in, but it's built off of the Unix kernel, which is what Linux is built off of as well, the core of it. So it's really, really secure, and again, it's not a high target in the market value in terms of Windows. So Windows is like, 90–80% of the market right now. So that's why it's a higher target for hackers and stuff like that to go aim for those machines because majority of the people are using that. So Mac is it's really, really great not to worry about, installing programs. You might get a virus or anything like that. Pop-ups and stuff like that, that you would download a virus, because a lot of viruses out there are for Windows and they won't really phase the Mac at all. But there is Mac viruses out there, so I'm not saying, you don't have to be 100%, worry-free, but it's just it's kind of a safe haven to not even worry about viruses, malware, spyware, all that jazz. Diversity. what I want to talk about in terms of diversity was I almost lost my train of thought here with this, but uh, like I said, it's you can not only run OS 10 on it, but you can run Windows on it. You can, like I talked about earlier, I'm gonna do Boot Camp. I can do it through Boot Camp, so I can boot into Windows. I can even do it through a virtual machine, so I can run like VMware Fusion or like what's the other one, Parallel, where I can run Windows in sync with OS 10. I can run Linux and on my, I can run Ubuntu, Kubuntu, Xubuntu, whatever I want to run on my Mac. On a PC, yeah, you can run virtual machines too. You can run Ubuntu, Linux, and all that. But to get OS 10 working on a PC, it's a little bit different. You have to have a Hackintosh, and that's not built for all regular machines. You have to do certain stuff to get that running and working. While on the Mac, it's okay to run Windows, Linux, and or OS 10. Obviously, it runs them all seamlessly, natively. In some cases, Windows even runs better on the Mac platform, or the Mac hardware, I should say. In future, now a lot of people say future-proof. Now that's something, of course, with PCs that is true. If you custom build a PC, you can swap out a part. If your video card gets old, 2 years later, you need a new high-end. There's a new high-end game coming out. You download, you buy a new video card, download drivers, and you're good to go. Same thing with PC. Remember CPU. If you want to update your CPU, you want to update your RAM until you hit your max, or you can just switch out your motherboard and build a whole new PC. It really is great. That's a great thing about PC, and that's something I do miss. I mean, like I said, I don't use my PC as often, but I still do use it. I think with Mac too, it's kind of in a way they also look towards the future with stuff like Thunderbolt and stuff like that. They build in these new hardware every now and then when they upgrade their hardware, and you tend to see that stuff coming out a couple years later on. But like I said, at least I have a Thunderbolt. It's just as fast as USB 3.0, so I know I'm ready when that the Thunderbolt hard drives roll out, the Thunderbolt whatever devices roll out that support Thunderbolt. I'll be ready with my iMac. And I think that the Mac hardware is just really reliable. I mean, I have a first generation MacBook here, never had a problems with it, never had a kernel panic with it, or any things of that sort. Now, I have Windows laptops, I've reviewed a lot of Windows laptops, and for the most part, they're reliable, but the hardware tends to fail, the software tends to have issues, I'll have a blue screen, I'll have some hardware related issue, not so much with Mac. Everything's kind of just seamless, plug and play, it works with everything you give it, even with Windows, like webcams and stuff like that, it's been working fine with that. You can't configure everything that you would be able to configure on Windows, but it supports it in the while if you would plug in like a Mac camera on Windows. It's always a toss-up with drivers and stuff like that if it's going to be working. Other than that, the last two things I want to talk about is challenge. It's kind of nice to have a new, kind of like a fresher breath of air does that sound wrong? Yeah, I guess. A breath of fresh air. To work with something new, to be on something new, to learn something new again. That was a fun part when I started with Windows and I got my first laptop, several years ago when I started my channel. I had Vista, I got to work around with that, I got to tweak it because I really hated it, stuff like that. I got to do all this cool stuff, and that's how it is with the Mac again. I'm really learning a lot of new stuff that I didn't know before, even though I had my MacBook. And the application suite, I think it's really, really great, the apps they pack in. A lot of people say that it's not really customizable and stuff like that. There's great apps. I want to talk about Geek Tools. Geek Tools is something I use, really cool. You can see the calendar up here. You can do tons of more stuff than just calendar. Very, very similar to Rainmeter. If you Windows users want something similar, you can totally, totally customize your desktop with Geek Tools. Really, really cool way to add, what do you call that? Different sort of, I don't even know, is this the right site? I don't even think it's the right site. Let me see here. Let's see, Geek Tools. Where is it? I think, is that really the right site? That just looks. Okay, that wasn't even the right site. See, that's my problem here. Geek Tools Mac. Let's look up that. And that's a project, so you can see your Geek Tool. There you go. Oh, it's totally the wrong site, but if you've ever seen Geek Tools, you can do really, really cool stuff with it. You can add widgets and all this other crazy stuff to your desktop on your Mac. You can add calendars and all of that crazy stuff. Sanuti, that's another really great app. I think a lot of the apps I have on Mac, which I've noticed, and I'm getting a Skype call in the middle of the video, is that a lot of the stuff on Windows that you have to pay for, a lot of developers put out there, a lot of Mac software, there's a lot of free software that can do the same thing and even better, like Sanuti. It's iTunes backwards. If you haven't seen my review on this, basically allows you to rip iPod or songs from your iPod or iPhone and put them on your Mac really, really simply. Really, really simply, like two-step process. That's what I really, really like about these. A lot of these Mac apps are really easy to use, and again, they're either cheap or free. Not to say there's also paid software out there. And something I've been using recently also is iBooks Author. Really, really great ebook making program that's only restricted to Apple, of course, but it's really, really great. If you haven't seen an iBooks author. If you haven't used it, if you have a Mac, try it out. It's really cool. Even if you don't plan on making an ebook, it's just really, really simple, and the stuff that can be produced with this is really great. Anyways, guys, Adrian here from the Digital Dojos. Again, head over to digitaldojos.com for more information. Overall, my Mac experience has been great so far. I'm hoping to do some more guides on kind of transitioning. If you guys are Windows users coming over to Mac, looking into purchasing a Mac, I'll kind of do the breakdown. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Don't forget to head over to digitaldojos.com again for more content, and I'll catch you all later.